Today on Blueprint, I'm going to show you arguably the easiest strategy to use in Legends League. So let's dive in and see how the spam dragon attack works with 11 invisibilities. Alright, here we are on the first attack, and guys, I've tried my best to bring you all the bases possible with the spell towers, and of course this one is with the double poison and it's Itsu's base. So there may be some changes, of course, sometimes in these versions of Itsu base, and yeah, a lot of people do change, like, you know, traps or for example defense by defense, but it's, I think, the main trap placement of Itsu, if I'm not mistaken. So it's obviously a very popular base currently, and this is how you want to take it down with these invisibility dragon spam attacks. Now I have made this army a bit more usable, kind of regarding how sometimes you may time fail. So I've took some extra things like minions and archers and yeah, loons you can tank for those early traps, because sometimes back in the season that I used to push, well, people used to put a lot of those traps on the outside, so easily you can just drop 2 loons or 1 loon and get the traps kind of activated, and then with the rest of your dragons you can attack. Now I'm going to recall the RC, and here is where you can drop the minion to clean up, and we're gonna go in with a siege barracks. Some of these attacks I think I've took the siege barracks and some of them I have not, but you can see I missed the sweeper even. So this is gonna be tough because we're diving into the sweeper that is actually quite intense to push us back. Now I'm going with the RC and immediately with her ability to try to get that area done, so we have access to the town hall and the dragons don't go too much to the outside. But unfortunately, yeah, the RC shots are going just to the clan castle troops, which is, as I said, unfortunate. But don't worry, with that perfect funnel from the RC at the beginning, you're always gonna have a very good access to the town hall, whether, as you can see here, is the minion prince or 1 or 2 dragons. You always have access. So once the minion prince is on the town hall, is the perfect ability placement that you can go. And notice I'm going to pop the warden ability very late. Now that is based depending, sometimes you can keep it for as late as possible, or sometimes you need to go with quite early because you're, for example, diving into a rage tower, or you're diving into a lot of heavy damage, and then pop the minion prince ability afterwards. Never pop them both together because you're always gonna lose on some values in the back end of the base. And here you can see we still got the minion prince going nicely, and the queen, because of the siege barracks, is still alive, because this base does have ricochet cannons and enemy heroes on the outside kind of layers, so they will cook your queen if you don't go with the siege barracks. And that's why I've chosen to go with the siege barracks on the bases that have a lot of damage on the outer layers. So let's move on to the second hit. So next up we have a rage invis combo, and I wanted to bring this for you because obviously this was a popular base layout, design, whatever you want to call it, like style, and it's coming back. You know, obviously it's the early season, so some people are still running these bases to try their best and get 1 stars. Now one thing about these bases is that you want to clear both town hall sides, which means one of them will have to be with RC. What I'm going for here is a side angle royal champion, so you're gonna see what happens and where she goes, because I don't want the RC to go to the left. I actually want her to go to the right, so she clears that entire pathway, and we are gonna have a very good funnel right into this town hall. And all that matters afterwards is the way you drop your RC and the way you drop your warden ability and the minion prince ability. 6 more invisibilities. I'm going to drop it, as you saw, in a way in case the RC choose the scatter shot, she's still fine, but as you can see she chose the expo, which means she still will be fine with that invisibility drops. And here is where, once I know the RC is in the core, I'm not gonna invest these other invisibilities, just because, guys, you're gonna get a very bad timing with the invisibility tower, because obviously here with the queen you can go ahead and take down the sweeper and air defense as you saw, but if you go for the core giant arrow you might miss those sweeper, which is gonna be toxic. But now you're gonna see that invisibility tower, just have a kind of small eye on it. Notice the RC, as I said, you're going to make the funnel for your dragons again, and with the queen that we went, we got a very good funnel as well. Unfortunate thing is that the queen is kind of struggling a bit, the dragons are still struggling. Going with the minion prince ability, notice this attack, I popped the minion prince ability before the warden, so I can keep the warden for longer time. Once the rage tower is dropped, I can go with the warden ability slightly deeper when the damage is dealt. Notice that invisibility tower, because my RC activated it earlier, it's like tough. If you keep making your RC invisible to keep the walk going, you are gonna miss out and this core will get invisible. Note that, okay? It's not good to keep the RC. Recall her the moment she goes and activates that core invisibility and start your attack, because as I said, you're gonna miss out on some very bad timings. So RC, I always have the Phoenix with her because sometimes I love to drop her into the damage. I love to drop her in the compartments when there are like 2 air heroes. She can literally get so much value out of that Phoenix, especially when there's like little health left on the building. Once she comes back alive, even if there is enemy heroes or clan castle troops, the aura with the electro boots will actually take that building for you. It's amazing. It's amazing how it works. But let's move on to the third hit. So up next, we got a double rage setup here, and a very toxic one, because obviously you can see we even got enemy heroes on the rage tower. So one thing I'm gonna do on these bases is always drop the RC for one of the rage towers, but of course the bases are designed in a way so you don't get into the rage tower. But notice what I do. This RC is going to struggle slightly, but because they had Teslas, she can come back and go around, but still I will use that extra invisibility on the top side defenses just to show you that even if there was no Teslas, I would have brought this RC to the core. So I kind of invested one invisibility for nothing, just to show you that the amount of invisibilities you have in this attack will make sure you always get what you want, especially in Legends. Whereas if you misplace a spell, or you kind of don't drop it too fast, your RC doesn't get too much cooked. In hard mode, she gets cooked in like 1 second, so it's tougher. But going with the queen arrow and then going with that, siege barracks, of course, because there is ricochet cannon, and off the top side I saw the Tesla farm, so on the lower side we are gonna have a Tesla farm too. The thing here is that I drop RC a bit more further so we can take down the multi-archer tower, the air defense, and of course clear up those buildings on the 9 o'clock. Now I'm losing out on a lot of dragons because of the fire spitters, town hall, and the enemy minion prince, but I'm still keeping the warden ability, again going with the minion prince ability first so I can keep the warden ability for longer. This is the main trick, okay? There is 2 big tricks in this army. One is with the abilities, how you play them around, and 2 is with the RC. Note how she beautifully cleared the 9 o'clock. This way your dragons never go around the base. They will always be in one path going through the base. If your dragons go around, you did something wrong with either the queen giant arrow, that you missed the sweeper, or with the siege barracks, or with the RC. But notice we have so much kind of power to get through this back end. I know there is an air defense and a multi-archer tower, but thing is, you got the queen. That's the big thing, because these things are on the outside, they're reachable. So if you have these on the outside and reachable and open walls, that is automatically just giving really good value to the enemy. Just the base is good, of course, but sometimes for the air is just not it. But as you can see, the queen will finish off the base with the minion prince and grand warden. Let's move on to our next hit. So on this one, I really want to showcase you a very heavy core. So we brought you all the bases on the pass. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the double invisibilities, but don't worry, they're not too hard, okay? Now on this one, you saw the core. It's crazy. And when it's crazy with a poison tower, that means you're not going to get the value with the RC. It will make the RC kind of slow. So what I do is I kind of make sure we go through the core with dragons. What does it need to happen for that is getting one side of the base, that is on this case the town hall, which is the 6 o'clock, or getting kind of the 9 or 3. You can see how we're going around with that. But with the diamond bases, it's easier to send the RC to the town hall because of the value she provides, and the top left or right side, depending on which side the RC choose to go. You can see on this one she's going more for the scattershot area. So if I send the dragons on the right side, they will skip the core. But notice the left, we got air defense, the expo, and more builder huts to a nice narrow path into the core. That's why I'm gonna choose the left, going with the siege barracks. And now we need big funnel, guys, taking down the sweepers with the queen, going with the dragons into the core. And notice I keep one dragon on this attack. You're gonna see why. And notice this RC drop, taking down those buildings and defenses from the forehand side, so the dragons does not have anywhere else to go except the core. You can see how beautiful these two sides have been made, going with the craziest minion prince ability, warden ability. And this is where I wish I had a rage spell, but don't worry, I know the core is toxic, but just watch the healing tome put in the work. A lot of people love to go with the rage gem. Guys, a lot of these attacks might have never been a triple if you had the rage gem. That's the thing, with the healing tome you can still even heal afterwards that you're diving after, you know, the warden tome. And the core, guys, just got deleted. We got 3 dragons on the lower side, we got 3 on the top side, queen, minion prince, and the warden still alive. What happened to this base is absolutely unstoppable to kind of defend, man. It's just crazy. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned a new few things. Let us know down below in the comments what strategies you want to see on this channel. But personally, I think this is the easiest one. Take care and peace.